Well, this is part 2 of the video from week 6, and we'll be concentrating on the elimination method. And I believe this is much easier than the substitution because the substitution requires a little bit more work, but you still get the same result. And if on the test, if the teacher decides to ask you either which method you use, either substitution or elimination, choose the one that suits you the best. And as long as you get the answers that you're looking for, then you're on the right track. So we're going to look over number 1, number 5, number 13, and number 21. All right. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of cleaning up a little bit. Number 1, negative 4x minus 2y equals negative 12. Second equation, 4x plus 8y equals negative 24. All right, so which variable you want to eliminate, the x's or the y? I think it's already done for us, so we eliminate the 4x's, so we're going to do this, the y's. We have a negative 2y plus 8. That gives us, the 8 is bigger, so we have a positive 6y. Then we have a negative 12 minus 24. The answer would be a negative, right? 24 plus 12, that gives us 36. All right. So far, so good. I'll put a line here to make it easier to see what I'm doing. All right. Then once we have this part, we divide what number in front of the variable? The 6 to both sides of the equation. Cross out the 6's on the left side. Bring down the y. We have a negative 36 divided by 6. The answer will be a negative. We have 36 divided by 6 is negative 6 for the y. All right. So far, so good, right? Once we figure out we have the y's, then we could use this to substitute for any of those two original problems. Which one do you prefer, the first equation or the second equation? I'm going to try the first equation. Let me move this down. We have a negative 4x minus 2. The y in place, negative 6 in place of y equals negative 12. All right. Then I'm going to multiply these two numbers. The negative 2 and negative 6. That gives us a positive 12. Then we do the simple arithmetic. To get 12 to the other side, we had to subtract 12 to both sides. Nope, that's not equals, minus. Crosses out the 12. Bring down the negative 4x. Then we have a negative 12 minus 12 is a negative 24. Then whatever is on the left side of the equation. Oh, before I proceed, any questions on how I got this far? Okay. Then we are going to divide to whatever in front of the x, which is a negative 4. Cross out the negative 4's, bring down the x. And then we have a negative 24 divided by negative 4. That gives us a positive 6. We're going to check to see the answer is correct. I'm going to use the first equation to make sure double check the work. A negative 4 times 6 is a negative 24. A negative times a negative equals a positive. That gives us 2 times 6 is a positive 12. It looks like it's going to be match. Negative 24 plus 12, that gives a negative 12. Does it match? Yes. So our final answer is x equals 6, y equals negative 6. That wasn't too bad, right? I told you it's a little bit easier, right? Where's the purple? Hold on. I think I fell the purple down. Hold on, give me a second, folks. I'll look for it in a minute. Don't worry, I'll look for it. Somewhere here. Did I drop it? Okay, so any questions on number 1? That wasn't too bad, right? All right. It's only the beginning. All right, let's move on to number 5. Number 5, we have a negative 2 minus 9y equals negative 25. And then we have a negative 4x minus 9y equals a negative 23. There's one way I can figure this out to either use the x's, eliminate the x's, or the y's. In this instance, I will use the top row multiplied by a negative 2. Okay? So we have a negative 2 times a negative 2, that is 4x. And then a negative 9y times a negative 2, that gives us a positive 18y, I'm sorry. Let me move this up. Give me a second, because it's too close to the edge of the paper. So let me see. I can put the multiply by 2. We got negative 2. There you go. Going to be positive 4x plus 18y. Then we have negative 25 times negative 2 is a positive 50. And then bring down the original equation. This will eliminate the x's completely. So I'm going to use this part. 18y minus 9y, that gives us a positive 9y. Then we have 50 minus 23, that gives us 27. Yes. Then any questions so far on where I'm at? Okay. Then what's in front of the variable, which is 9. 9 to both sides of the equation. Then we have cross out the 9s. Then bring down the y. 27 divided by 9 is 3. We have the y variable. Okay. Now we could substitute whatever for what's for what we got for y to any of these two equations. Would you prefer the top or the bottom? I'm going to try the bottom. Negative 4x minus 9 y for 3. Substitute y for 3 equals negative 23. Then we do the multiplication. We have 9 times 3, that gives us 27. negative 27. Negative 9 times positive 3 equals a negative 27. Always watch your signs. Then, so far so good on this step. Okay. Then we're going to do the opposite of this. In this case, is a positive. We add 27 to both sides. Cross out the 27s. Bring down the negative 4x. Then we have negative 23 plus 27. Sorry about that. 27 is bigger, so it'll be a positive 4. All right. Then once you get to the step, we divide what's in front of the variable, which is a negative 4. Cross out the negative 4s on the left side. Bring down the x. The answer will be a negative. What is 4 divided by negative 4 is a negative 1. All right. Then we could check our solutions. We can use those in these two. So I'm going to use the first one. We got negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive 2. Then we have a negative 9 times 3 that gives us a negative 27. It looks like it's going to match. A negative positive 2 minus 27 that gives us a negative 25. Does it match? Yes, it does match. So that's our final answer. X equals negative 1. Y is 3, equals 3. So, any questions on number 5? Number 5. Okay. Then I'll go over the next problem. Just a second, folks. I'm not gonna worry. I'm gonna use green. All right. Be that may, let's go over number 15. Number 13, actually. We have 16x minus 10y equals 10. Negative 2 minus 6y equals 6. We could simply multiply either both or both by different numbers or one of them. And I would say I will look over to, I use this bottom equation and multiply by 2. Okay, I'm going to bring the original here. Okay. Then we have a negative 8x times 2 that gives us a negative 16x. Negative 6 times 2 equals a negative 12. Excuse me. And that's 6 times 2 that gives us 12. So we eliminate the x's. Now we're going to concentrate on the y's. Any questions on how I got to this point? All right. Then we are going to do the arithmetic. A negative 10y minus a negative 12 minus 12y equals a negative 22y. Then we have a 10 plus 12 equals 22. And then we're going to divide what's in front of the variable. In this case, we have a negative 22. Cross out the negative 22s on the left side. Bring down the y. We have positive 22 divided by negative 22. That gives us a negative 1. We solve for y. So far, so good on this. Okay. Then we can use what we got for y is -1 to use in any original equations. I'm going to try. Let me see what the answer is. I'm going to try the first equation. This will turn into a positive. So -10 times -1 equals a positive 10. And then we do the simple arithmetic. Subtract 10 to both sides. Cross out the 10s on the left side of the equation. Bring down to 16x equals 10 minus 10 is 0. Can we divide? Yes or no? Yes. The reason why is that 0 divided by 16 to give us 0. In this case, in a different instance, if the 0 is in front of the other side, where the variable is at, and 16 here, that will be called undefined. So in this case, you are able to divide it by 16. Cross out the x's on the left side. Bring down the x right here. We have 0 divided by 16 is 0. Now we go double check our work. I use the second equation. In this instance, we have -8 times 0 is 0. And this would turn into, I believe, as positive 6. Does it match? Yes. So that is our final answer. 0 for x, -1 for y. In a little bit. Almost done. So any questions on number 13? That's not bad, right, folks? We're almost done. All right. We're going to do a 20. We could do the x's or the y's. 5x plus 4y equals -14. 3x plus 6y equals 6. Hold on a second. Come on. You said, Chewy. You got a box shot. Got on me here, Chewy. Doorbell. 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 She don't want me here. We apologize. I'm back. So we have 5x plus 4y equals -14 and 3x plus 6y equals 6. We could do the x's or the y's. Let's try the x's. I'm going to multiply the first one by -3. Second one by a positive 5. So I'm going to do this first row. 5x times a -3 to give us a -15x. And then 4y times a -3 is a -12x. 12y, I'm sorry, 12y. Get that mixed up. Then we have -14 times a -3 that gives us a positive 42. Then we have 3x times 5 equals 15x. Then we have 6y times 5 equals a positive 30. y. And this will be 6 times y. Now 6 times 5 is 30. We eliminate the x's. Let's do the y's. Negative 12y plus 30, that give us 18y. And then 42 plus 30, that gives us 72. And then what's in front of the variable, we divide by, in this case, 18 to both sides. Cross these out. The 18's on the left side. Bring down the y. 72 divided by 18 is 4. Just did a calculation real fast. Any questions to this point so far? Alright, then we could substitute the y for any of these two equations like I previously stated. So I'm going to use the bottom equation. We're going to multiply these two. 6 times 4 is 24. Then we subtract 24 to both sides. Cross out the 24s on the left side. Bring down the 3x. We have 6 minus 24. I believe it's 18. Negative 18. Like in the last part. So far, so good at this point. Okay. Then what's in front of the variable, we should divide. In this case, we got 3. And then cross out the 3's on the left side of the equation. Bring down the x. We have a negative 18 divided by 3 is a negative 6. We're almost done. Let's check the problem. Let's see, I use the second part. Substitute what's inside the variables. 3 and then negative 6 plus 6. Substitute 4 equals 6. 3 times a negative 6 is a negative 18. Then 6 times 4 is 24. It looks like a match. Negative 18 plus 24 is a positive 6. Yes, that's our final answer. X equals negative 6. Y equals positive 4. It doesn't look right. It's okay. Sorry, folks. All right. Any questions on number 21? All right, folks. That is it for the elimination method. We have concluded that we had to multiply both equations by different numbers, or one of them by a number that matches to whatever you're looking for the x or the y's, and so on. Until then, folks, any more questions before I conclude it? All right. Until then, I will see you in a few days. Until then, have a good rest of your evening, everyone.